Hi, I'm Katie the Real Estate Gal in Denver, Metro, Colorado, and I am with Joe McCoy, who is a local commercial lender, and we're going to be talking about some common calculations and formulas that you see a lot in real estate investing. So the first one I wanted to cover is, how do you calculate a down payment?
So Katie, to calculate a down payment, typically a lender will finance up to 75% of the purchase price or lesser of the purchase price or the appraised value. So usually you need a 25% down payment. To give an example, if your purchase price is $400,000, you just multiply $400,000 by 25%, and that'll tell you what your down payment would be, which in this example would be $100,000. So you're buying it for $400,000, you're putting $100,000 down, and you're going to get a loan for $300,000.
So I keep hearing some acronyms, and one of them is NOI. What does that stand for, and why is it important?
So NOI stands for net operating income. That's going to truly tell you what your property can produce. And to calculate, Katie, you take your gross rents minus all your expenses, and the remainder is your NOI, or net operating income. So for example, let's say, looking at it on a monthly basis, if your gross rents from a rental property was $2,800 a month, all your expenses for the month equaled $600, your net operating income would be $2,200.
So what would be a target for an NOI? Like, how do you know, as long as it's positive, is it a good NOI, or is there a range you should be looking for?
No, your NOI should be pretty significant, because you also still have to service your loan payment from the NOI and then still have some money left over from that. So it really, what's going to affect your NOI is what your rents are and how much expense you have. And we can get into expense at a later time. There's a lot of things that go into that. You might just look at what the rents are on a property and what the value is on the property, and you don't really see through what this thing is really going to make for you. There could be some expenses that you aren't aware of, or maybe expenses are higher for some things than you're being told.
Can you give an example on an expense?
For example, property taxes. Your property taxes, maybe you're in a zone where the taxes are really high, or they're anticipated to go really high. Maybe the property has a lot of deferred maintenance. So there's a lot of investment you're going to have to put into it, cosmetic work, that kind of thing. And obviously the rents, having the accurate market rent that you could expect to receive, or that the property has been generating, is where you start at.
Got it. Cool. Okay, another acronym that I keep hearing is DSCR. What is that?
So Katie, DSCR is an acronym that lenders use, short for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. And so the DSCR is going to tell a lender if the property is affordable, if it's generating enough income. So it's basically a measure of how much profit you'll make from the property after you pay the mortgage payment and all the other expenses. So it's really simple to calculate. So to get to your DSCR, you take your net operating income, NOI, and you divide it by whatever your loan payment is, and the resulting ratio is your DSCR. So an example of that, Katie, could be your net operating income is $2,200 a month, and your loan payment is $1,600 a month. If you divide the $2,200 into the $1,600, that gives you a percentage of 1.375. That is your DSCR, your debt service coverage ratio. And typically most lenders, residential investment properties, like to see a DSCR of 1.25% or better. The other thing too with your debt service coverage ratio is you also can see what your net profit is. So again, you just take your net operating income, in our example, $2,200 minus your $1,600 loan payment, and you've got a $600 a month net profit.
Is that something that the investor calculates, or is that something that the lender takes care of?
Well, it's something you as an investor would definitely want to calculate. Want to get an idea of what your loan payment would be, which your lender can help you with, but you really want to know and understand those numbers, and not just rely on someone else to do those numbers for you.
So there's a lot of calculations here. Do you recommend keeping this in an Excel spreadsheet, or what does the organization look like?
Comment section, if you message us, I've got a nifty little spreadsheet that I can send you that goes through all this and calculates it for you.
Awesome, I love that. Don't reinvent the wheel if somebody else has already done the hard work. So I'm Katie the Real Estate Gal in Denver, Metro, Colorado. If you have any real estate questions, I'm your gal. And as mentioned, this is Joe McCoy, who is a local commercial lender, and he's more than happy to provide some insight and perspective with anything lending related. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.